Let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. There's a group out there called 76. They claim to be neutral, but they're mostly dicks. Made up of all the last round picks, trying to get by, living off dono clicks. Chud Trooper, I made the song with the looper. Intel Tifa, there's a snooper. They said that you used a bucket for a pooper. They blast it out every time you make a blooper. Whizzy wig, what you see is what you get. You might be the biggest fucking douchebag yet. So disingenuous to everyone you meet. Insurrectionist loser, try to act so sweet. Taco Joe, watch out where you go. Can't be reading chat when you're driving down the road. You're the only one who's found and you know you're not blending. Chinese massage looking for a happy ending. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Oreo, this is what the left does. You like a broken record, if there ever was. Always talking shit, chomping on a cigar. Does anyone believe you didn't vandalize your car? No. Big D punched out a tree. He raised a lot of cheddar to pay his legal fees. Now he's out rolling a brand new jalopy. Naughty Aubrey saving him some seconds, so sloppy. Mag American, bird extraordinaire. The bottom of your head is where you keep your hair. Limited abilities at your calling card. Looking at your website makes me laugh so hard. Lol. Dave Riddell, the dude's dumb as hell. Every time he makes a move, he takes another L. Dude's a bottom feeder, he's not a salad eater. Doesn't like to be referred to as a metal cult leader. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Screaming Steve, you gotta be a little hoarse. Yelling doesn't make a country change its course. All it does is make you look like more of a freak. People hurry and stop to peek. Flop a Josh, you're the Josh who flops. And you also got a hard on for hassling the cops. When you got arrested, all of Twitter cheered. You probably got arrested chilling up in that beer. Golden Chariot versus Judd Mangler. I wanna be Santa Claus, except a little angrier. You made a spin-off when you got the boot. You gotta keep the grift going, gotta stack the loot. Last but not least, it's your girl Gooch. Born again party girl living on the fringe. Just looking for some place to belong, where they don't give a shit about her pussy song. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer. Which Tifa? Dropping voodoo on their asses, Tifa. Tifa, let's all go and smoke some reefer.
Hello, thank you for clicking on. That was, of course, Weed Tifa to start our night off. And again, incredible tip of the cap to Jerry Garcia and Baldy Banks for that collaboration. See what happens when people work together. Hello, everybody. Again, thank you for hopping on here with me. Hello to Mark, Paradise Pete, Lori Arnold, Cunning Stunt, Sassy Pants, Kaiser Mama. That's best song ever. Here listening says. Let me get up to the top and say hi to anybody I might have missed. Kaiser Mama's was first. Nurse D, hello. Paw Patrol and Fireman 17, sup. Forget about that. Hello, Oomph. Ed. And let me run on down here for a little bit. We've got some stuff to talk about tonight, and we've had some developments happen. So I'm kind of producing the show on the fly, so to speak. Hello, Lois. Hello, Pure Heart. Hello, Mike. Paradise Pete. Loves wood heat. Me to you. Weed Tifa. Yeah, everybody, I hope you feel free to dance along. Hello, Joy. Joy, while you are here, instead of me sending something after we get done, would you want tomorrow night? Would you want to come on and do what we had talked about doing, and kind of reverse the table and do a little interview tomorrow night? Let me know if so, and if tomorrow night doesn't work, we will set something up. Hello, L. Smith. Sassy Pants. And Weed Tifa. I just kind of felt like, we needed to open tonight's show just a little bit differently. And for those of you that don't have that song stuck in your head, you might now after that, because I've had it stuck in my head for a long time. So I thought, why not just, face it and play it. Hi, Jungle Jane, Wendy Spears. Anybody I'm missing down through here? And hello to everybody that's not in the chat. I'm sure I missed somebody. Laura. I'm sure I've missed somebody, and Exposing's in here. Bobby Joe. Ruth Sanders. It's a fun little ditty. Indeed. 97 strong, hi. And, okay, let's get to it. Here's what's happening breaking news wise as far as what the mainstream media is telling us. And we start out with the New York Times. The Fetterman's debate showing raises Democratic anxieties in a Senate battle. That's the Senate race in Pennsylvania between Dr. Oz and Congressman Fetterman. And Congressman Fetterman had a stroke shortly after the campaign started. And so he's been recovering from that. I did not see the debate. I heard both sides. I heard Fetterman didn't generate a whole lot of confidence, but he's recovering from a stroke. And I heard Oz was an absolute maroon. So we don't know how that'll work out. CNBC, we'll find out, though, coming up in the election. White House hammers economic issues with attack on junk fees 2 weeks out from the elections. NBC News says St. Louis school shooter obtained a gun after his family worked with police to make sure he couldn't get one. Washington Post, second woman accuses Herschel Walker of pressuring her to have an abortion. NPR, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program just got more flexible. Now, the idea of the student loan program forgiveness got basically spayed and neutered, if you will. But Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program is getting even more flexible. And ABC News, Democratic New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez under federal investigation. That should be again under federal investigation again. You got it. Okay. Absolutely, I will do that. Democratic New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez under federal investigation again. according to sources. Um, and once again, hello to everybody. I'll get back over into the chat in a few minutes. And in a few minutes after that, I'll address a couple of things. I want to address something right now, though, in the chat, okay? Sometimes you see my mods, sometimes you don't. It's like the Almond Joy commercial, which is sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Okay. Anyway, and I do have mods in the chat. No hate talk, nothing. Just, if you're going to argue with each other, do so at least a junior in high school to senior in high school level or above, okay? And no talk about anybody's families, or don't dox anybody. I shouldn't have to tell you all this, but it's a different time. We live in a different time. So no hate, no threats, and I'm not paying attention to the chat. I'm running the show here, so if you get timed out, there's probably a good reason, or there's an incredible misunderstanding. All right. With that said, I will get into the chat in just a couple of minutes. I'll get back into the chat and see what's happening. But at first, we are going to run down our Twitter scroll of what's happening that's not getting talked about in the mainstream. If you missed last night's show, please go back and watch it, because we talked about the water situation. We talked about how you seriously need to start stocking up on some food and water, because we live in uncertain times. I wanted to start with this from Marie Curie. Quote, "We must believe that we are gifted for something, and that this thing, at whatever cost, must be attained." Just a little motivation there, in case anyone needs it, as we start out. What is playing out in civil family courts across the U.S. using restraining orders and protective orders to impede an individual's First Amendment is grossly an abuse of the system and mechanisms in place to protect victims of domestic violence. This is fitting that this came out, as, again, NewJersey.com is where this was, but pluck the patriarchy in somewhat local news as far as the 1776 and opposition, whatever this has become. It's now kind of become, I think we've moved into the Judge Judy phase of what's going to be playing out, or some such court reference. But pluck the patriarchy had all of the restraining orders that were placed against her removed today officially in court, and that is something indeed that probably should have never have happened, as we again read right here, using restraining orders and protections to impede an individual's First Amendment right is grossly an abuse of the system. Again, just something to think about. Transnational protest 6 in the hometown of the young woman that was killed in. She was taken into custody by the morality police. She was taken to a re-education center, where she was eventually killed. Thousands of people ignored the government, and the government had closed roads, and they walked to the grave site of that young woman. And when I say thousands, I'm talking tens of thousands of people. That's what's happening in Iran at the moment. Okay. Um, and I thought you might want to see this. Some of you may not want to see this, but you need to see this. This is what really goes on, okay? Blake Masters, Arizona Republican Senate candidate, sent out a fundraising email. And Aliyah, hi, it's Blake Masters. I need to ask you something. Can President Trump and I count on your vote in November? And donate. For every $5 donated, $4.95 went to Trump, and 5 cents goes to Blake Masters for Senate. So that's how things really work. 3 people were found guilty today in Michigan in the plot to the Michigan governor, and we'll talk about that just a touch more in depth. Another video right now of this is on the ground in one of the streets. Protests going in at least 40 major areas around Iran. So while Iran is sticking its nose in the Russian-Ukrainian conflict very heavily, they've got major problems at home. This comes from Anonymous. Anonymous has warned FIFA to expel Iran from the World Cup over deadly drone attacks on Ukraine. And this is a quote: "Your choice: expels the Iranian team immediately from World Cup 2022 or wait for us," the hacktivists said in a message to the governing body. And that's not a group you want angry with you. That's all I'm going to say. Darrell Brooks was found guilty of 76 charges in the Waukesha Christmas massacre, including 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. I can still see in my head the night we did that episode, and it sadly showed him running into that parade celebrating Christmas. Okay. And a second woman accuses Georgia GOP Senate candidate Herschel Walker of pressuring her to have driving her to a clinic and waiting for hours in the lot. Quote, "We do not need people in the U.S. Senate who profess one thing and do another," was in the document the second woman has released. Now, also, while things are happening in Iran, things were happening as of when this came out, about 6 hours ago. Jets flying over northern Israel. We'll get to why in just a minute. Former Republican Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, wants to make one thing crystal clear: he is for any Republican not named Donald Trump in 2024. The director of the CIA was unexpectedly in Ukraine, and this is a quote: "While there, he reinforced the U.S. commitment to provide support to Ukraine in its fight against Russian aggression, including continued intelligence sharing." That was seen, and it was quoting one of the U.S. officials that was on the trip. And again, that was totally unexpected. Generally, leader of the CIA doesn't visit a country unless there's a United States CIA presence. Again, another look at the amount of people that were making their way to the gravesite of this young woman that had this movement, a movement led by youth, but now has engulfed a vast majority of the people, maybe not a vast majority, but a majority of the people in Iran. And Iran really has an internal problem. The problem with them having an internal problem is they are turning to Russia as far as how to handle this. And Russia, of course, is referencing Syria and their efforts in Syria, among other things. Secretary Tony Blinken says China rejects status quo of Taiwan situation. So keeping things the way they are is not what China has in mind when it comes to Taiwan. Again, that's just something for us to think about. Joseph Morrison, Paul Beller, and Pete Muccio were found guilty in state court of providing material support for terrorist acts, possessing a firearm while committing a felony, and being members of a gang. They face up to 20 years in prison each, and those three men were convicted of aiding the plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Whitmer. So, just a couple of more things to talk about real quick here. But before I do that, I'm going to hop over here into the chat real quick. Hot Mess Summer. Hello, good. I'm glad to see you're here. I'll drop the link for you to come on if you can in a few minutes, for a few minutes. Thank you, 97 Strong. Okay, who thinks the three convicted in Michigan were framed? Max Smith asking the chat a question. Please don't eat my bread pudding. Were all the agents charged? Ruth Sanders wants to know. Members only club, Jenny Grimes? Wait a minute. Moving by too quick here. One American No Party. Thanks for addressing my email question. They just thrown accusations and run most refuse to answer questions. We don't agree mostly, but that deserves some recognition. Well, thank you, One American No Party. And again, anytime you wanna arrange something and come on, be more than happy to talk, and would look forward to it, really, and be treated with respect. Yeah, so I got some questions, but we're going to have Summer Dickerson on here coming up in just a couple of minutes. But yeah, send me an email, One American No Party, and we'll set something up. Brett Boyle, hello. Why don't you all smoke some reefer? Doofus, can you talk about population control one night? Okay, Bobby Joe, I will. I'll talk about some of the different theories, conspiracy theories. I guess you'd probably have to categorize them. We can do something. We can record something and play it during a live. You don't have to be on here with me live. We can set something up. Just let me know, okay? We'll record something and just play it live, and I do that with a few. Sorry, I was reading and trying to think at the same time. Thanks for the $20 super chat, Darlene. Lori Arnold said I would love to talk to Bernie on Doofus. I don't know. Let me talk with One American No Party first, and then maybe we'll see if he's interested in that. Hi, Lisa Hurley. Hi, Ghost Whisperer. Sean, American Rebel. Sean, did I see you in a Pat McAfee chat one time? Because my boy Pat McAfee, for those that don't know, Pat McAfee was the punter for the Indianapolis Colts. I met him a few times. He does a show in the afternoons, and if you're a sports person, it's a good show to watch. Five, four, three, two, one. I don't know if those are explosions coming after the countdown or what. Forget about that. Hello, She-Hawk. Leva, hello. Laverne couldn't handle Lolo. Yeah, Lolo's a strong woman. You can, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that one out. I understand that. Yeah, I understand that because people cut it up and editing stuff. I don't do that, but I totally understand I totally understand the caution. Um, Lori Arnold would remain calm, but not one American, no party. Okay, Nurse D, I'm gonna have to take some umbrage there. Um, Lori gets excited, you know. I noticed I noticed watching her video of our conversation. Um, I was nodding my head real quick because she was so exuberant about what she talks about that it was, normally when you're interviewing somebody, you're not nodding in agreement all the time. You're nodding that you're aware of, and you're actually listening and hearing what they're saying. Um, but Lori is a very excitable person. Lori says, yeah, and I was nodding my head. It's like, man, they're gonna put bobblehead dolls out on me after that one. Um, I will never talk to Lori. She can't even answer email questions. Plus, her attempt to dox my residence. That's fine. I respect that. I respect that. No, that's totally fine. Totally understand. And we'll set something up. And that might happen. 97% strong. It might happen. Blah, blah, blah. I tend to blah, blah, blah a lot. Um, okay, OANP, One American, No Party. Um, Oom's putting down some freestyle, it looks like. Um, Nurse D says, watch her interaction again with Buffalo Man, night of the restraining orders. Okay, I will. Oh, okay. uh, all right. I'm going to get back to the other couple of things here, and then we'll move on with the guest. Um, let's see which one do we do first. Okay, let's do this one first. Um, this comes from Dutch Saints in and he's a very controversial figure online. Um, we reference him once in a while because of his tracking of earthquakes and in some cases um, uncanny prediction of earthquakes. And he's got some other theories about what's impacting earthquakes and things like that. But I wanted to start here and just show you that um, the red dot here is the earthquake we talked about last night, and the 5-point earthquake just outside of San Diego. And I wanted you to see the red lines here are the plate boundaries, and it's the earthquake occurred right at a place where the energy transfer could continue potentially north to the next weak spot where there's another earthquake, or continue south. That is according to the theory that Dutch has, and indeed an earthquake has popped up here to the south. So anytime something happens in that area, um, It could impact the Cascadia Fault going north. It could impact the San Andreas going south. And I want to play just a couple of seconds of what Dutch says, because some people have asked me to talk about this. I'm not going to go in depth tonight, but high frequency active auroral research program, otherwise known as HARP. And Dutch is going to talk about it here for a second.
What's going on down below the plates?
When do you spray Febreze air?
After every flush.
In my kitchen, Febreze tackles my toughest odors.
Okay, it happens to me every time. Let me finish this ad out and get right to it. Have it also go do a perfect intro, and that's what happens when you're producing and directing and doing everything by yourself, and you're stalling while the commercials play. So thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for being here. Again, play the patriarch, Jay Met. All of the restraining orders dropped from that she had placed upon her, and unjustifiably so in my personal opinion, because that's not what restraining orders are supposed to be used for. But nonetheless, okay, here we go. And I ran it back a little bit too far here, but let me see if we can bump it up. I'm sure we can. About
severe weather and earthquake activity, but mainly severe weather. The high frequency actually doesn't cause the earthquakes. High frequency causes up in the ionosphere, which creates VLF, very low frequency, which then causes earthquake.
Okay, this is his theory, all right? We're not saying that that's true, but some things are happening that if it is true, there might be more earthquakes than normal.
Now, how much is it going to cost? I don't know. We don't have any previous examples on this. When was the last time they beamed HARP to another planet and back? Never. So, first time they're beaming it one planet to the other, at least as far as I know. And it's the first example we have of Earth being re-bombarded with 10 megahertz to 100 megahertz. I don't know exactly where it's going to fall on the spectrum, but I think HARP is operating up to 10 megahertz. These arrays in California and Arizona are listening on 10 megahertz. And if you want to see the news on this, if you don't believe me, I was told that HARP was being talked in 2013 and 2014. Turns out that was a load of disinformation crap from people who was putting out disinformation on HARP all the way back. Well, geez. How far back were they putting out disinfo on it? Hey, wait a second. Where are my HARP posts? Several of my posts. Wait, where are my HARP posts? Where's the HARP post, guys? Dude, I've got my... Look, they left this one. They took down the actual HARP post. Dude, I think I still have it in a comment here. Hold on. Wow, man. Wow. Dang, real-time actual censorship you get to see live. A missing HARP post that everybody was giving me shit on yesterday is now gone. Wow. Wow. Okay, let's go down below this one. My cat picture, that's a little honey. Here we go. Thank God I posted it there. There's the news. There's the news on the 17th announcing bouncing a signal off the moon and bouncing a signal off Jupiter. New $9.3 million grant, too, wasting $10 million on this shit. So, pardon my language, but Jupiter is currently 372 million miles from Earth. Yeah, right. That explains why my Sony Handycam was able to pick it up back in 2011 and the moons around it. 4-inch wide Sony Handy. So, 4-inch long Sony Handycam. Lens.
Okay, so obviously he's pretty amped up about that. We will get into the conspiracy theories. Oh. Okay, hoping that's... Whoa. Well, this is weird. Let's see how that looks. Just in case anybody doubts, we are live. And actually, I just realized that you didn't see any of the video from Dutch, which is okay. That's fine. Not totally necessary. A little bit of adjustment here so that the reflector's not in the shot. There we go. Now, focus. Thank you. All right. I don't know. I was going to say, Lori Arnold, are you responsible for that? And Lois says, Doofus been around Lori Arnold too long. Let Lori around that camera. Earthquake. Honestly, I'm not sure what happened. All of a sudden, I looked up and I could see the camera slowly dropping off of the tripod. Press 3 if you were enjoying the tinfoil. Don't believe you never will. Okay, okay. That's actually not a bad camera angle. Accidentally happening there. So, again, that was Dutch, and there we go. Just so happens that the two areas he's talking about where they have, and I cut that part off, two areas he's talking about where they have placed receivers to receive the signals that are being bounced out of Alaska through HARP, to receive them when they bounce back off of the moon and bounce back off of Jupiter. Never been done before as far as we know. Not sure why they're doing it now. But very low frequency waves. And the two areas where the receptors are, where the receiving stations are, in New Mexico and in California, both hit with earthquakes. So, if nothing else, it's something to think about. And also Oklahoma hit with an earthquake as well. So, a lot of stuff happening in the world that we are not always privy to, not always allowed to know about. And just heard a noise. Strangeness going on back here in the studio. For those that have not seen it, and especially if you have questions about the legitimacy of the protesters, you need to go on Rumble and see the Chugi show. Ren Raw Films, the Chugi show. We had been given an idea of what had happened leading up to certain charges of abuse, but what we had been led to believe and what the court documents actually say are very different things, and you honestly might have a totally different perspective of the anger of some people after you see the whole thing. and that's in my opinion. And we were doing this to lead up to having Summer Dickerson and BTM Sparky on, and I hope, it's for entertainment purposes only, of course, no wagering. Summer, if you're still on here, hang on for just a couple of minutes. Summer and BTM Sparky were going to come on, and the three of us were going to have a conversation. I got a letter, an email from BTM Sparky, and she asked me to share this. I'm going to post it on my YouTube, in the YouTube community post. If you're a subscriber, you can read the whole thing, because she said please read it. I don't want to, some of this stuff I don't want to put out in the video, because I think it should remain private. She wants, but if you want to read the whole thing, I'll put it out there so you can. I'm just going to highlight a little bit of it. I said something today that came out totally wrong, was completely blown out of proportion, and then thrown back at me as I'd asked somebody to do something illegal, when I was so angry and offended that what I meant was not what it sounded like. People love going out of their way to misunderstand you and later try to slam you for it. I saw a POW flag with J6 on it today, a Vietnam POW flag, the flag I've always flown. T-shirts, patches, stickers, images, with the heartbreaking knowledge how so many of them were just kids and never got to come back home. Back in the 70s, we used to wear POW bracelets to symbolize the fact that we were not forgetting the people that were still over there. And if you weren't in that era, you may not understand all of this. We never got them back. Boys sent off to war who never got to see their beautiful homeland again, their families, the faces of people who loved them. And the ones who did come home, they were spit on and called baby killers. And they were changed. They were in my community. I'm sure they were in many communities. I'm sure that, some of you were in. They were just boys. No one gave them a choice. They had to go for God and country. I welcomed an old man home one time. He had a Vietnam vet hat on, and he said to me, "Young lady, no one has ever said that to me." They kept them, held them prisoner, beat them, starved them, worked them, and denied them the freedom they fought for until the day they died. Our soldiers, Americans, boys drafted for a war that really wasn't our business, just like other wars that are not our business, because I happen to believe in anti-war and not killing others for a so-called freedom no one really has. I have zero politics. I think they should fire everyone and put Waffle House cooks in all the offices, but this one flag means so very much to me, my sorrow, my heart, and people who did not deserve to be treated in such a way. I lived my entire life in respect and honor of that flag. Knowing how deep the meaning behind it is, this sent me over the edge. J6 on a POW flag. They were arrested for breaking and entering, if you have to keep it simple and easy enough for an idiot to understand. They broke and entered into the Capitol. Who gives a crap what their intentions were? You can't go around breaking and entering into people's houses and businesses, no matter what your political beliefs. They are prisoners of their own stupid actions. They are not prisoners of war. There are consequences and repercussions to our every decision. Cut and dry, they broke and entered. They're not heroes. They're not. Hold on a second. Hit the wrong thing here. Let me get back to what she was writing. Okay. She continues. They are not heroes. They are not prisoners of war. And their logo on that flag is such a disrespect and terrorist claim on this country that I cannot stomach it. I'm from the streets. I know nothing but war and struggle. I am not who I used to be, but this one thing cut me so close to my heart I just can't right now. I can't look and or participate anymore because I have to take care of me. I have idiot-ass people threatening to come to my house, other people spouting their dumb stuff as well, and others just irritating me one way or another, and I really don't know any of them, really don't care about any of them, don't watch their content and or give them much attention. These same people don't care about the ones who have come my way, who I love, who have stories and situations to overcome. They formed an alliance of hope and love and moving on, even though we will never get over it. For now, I can't do it. For now, I am so mad, I want to drive to D.C. For now, I can't say anything more. For now, I'm pulling out my paints. I'm putting music on. I'm shutting all the mini laptops and I'm reclaiming my peace. If anyone thinks it's about a flag, yes, it's about a flag. It's about an American symbol that tells us to do better, to avoid these situations by any means necessary. It tells us about all the people who never got to come back home, who were held captive the remaining of their lives. So yes, it's about a flag. Yes, it is my patriotism under fire. And yes, I'm pissed the hell off. And yes, it's about a flag, if you didn't hear me the first time. Due to a rampage of misunderstanding, I've taken my Twitter down and will not be returning there. I will not be doing videos for my YouTube channel right now. I will not be doing anything but what my heart needs, and that's to heal, to forgive, to shut the war down. I want so very much to start. Please forgive me for standing you guys up tonight. It was important to me, really it was. I'd really appreciate it if you would just read this tonight, kind of like my apology to the others and to help me save face, because I just can't. It is just too much. I feel so insignificant and frustrated. All the feelings I am having right now is why I've kept my life quiet and secluded and private the last year. My platform has grown so much. I got 375 subscribers the hard way. Had my name drug into all sorts of shit I had nothing to do with. And they really are 5-year-olds. I'm so tired and exhausted with everything. Life, people, politics. I don't even hold a religion, or politics I don't even hold. A religion I long walked away from, and this YouTube nightmare that we all find ourselves submerged in. So, basically, BTM Sparky, instead of coming on and talking with us tonight, has said farewell, at least for the time being. And she won't be doing videos for a while. I imagine she'll be in contact with everyone that she values still. She's just not going to be doing it in an open social media video situation, okay? And I am not mad, I'm not upset, I'm not, actually, you know, if this is really the last kind of public word from Sparky, it's kind of fitting, because she always said that this show unlocked her, and it's kind of fitting that this is where she disappears. It kind of Kuna Matata kind of thing, She comes first full circle, if that's indeed the case. But I after the brief time of getting to know her, I imagine myself, like many of you, are thinking this is not the last we will hear from Sparky, and no matter what, in the short term, we wish her well and we wish her healing. And with that, Summer, are you still here? I'm hoping Summer's still here because this is kind of sudden, and a lot of ladies have grown. Not only ladies, but a lot of people. My fault. A lot of people have grown accustomed to BTM Sparky's channel, and that being a place to. There she is. That being a place to go, and I just want to make sure that we get Summer on here. There we go. In case you don't know, this is an alternative channel I recommend you subscribe to, and it's primarily just like BTM Sparky's channel was. It is primarily a channel for women, but it's for all people. Okay, there she is. There she is.
What up? How's everybody
What up,
doing?
Summer?
Hello.
Well, we're doing okay. We lost BTM Sparky today.
I see. That's what I was listening to. That's sad.
Yeah. It is sad, but at the same time, it's understandable. You get into some intense situations, and if you don't back off and take care of yourself, sometimes it gets overwhelming.
It does. I know the feeling all too well. I'm coming back from a situation like that myself. So.
Right. And are you going to be a little more active on your platform, video wise, for people?
Yeah, actually, we've been doing a lot of stuff covering the case with the Christmas parade guy that killed all those people. I've been doing a bunch of stuff over there. But yeah, we've been going live at night. At night, sometimes I'll do panels. Sometimes I'll do music and chill. It just kind of depends on what the comments is doing. And then I'll do during the afternoon or in the evening. Sometimes I do like topics where I'll open up a panel and have people come on and talk about things. Obviously, it's domestic violence, and as we all, for those that do know me, I mean, I fight for humanity, but I definitely fight for women, and so that's where my heart is. So just trying to do life together and go through shit and work it out. So yeah, that's kind of what we do at my channel.
Okay, is it okay that I send these ladies to your channel now that are used to going to BTM Sparky's?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, my channel's open to everybody. We don't do the drama shit, you know what I mean? Because there's enough drama shit in the world, and I think we should try to really be there for each other. Because like this internet stuff takes a toll on each other, and I don't care what fight we're in or whatever we're doing in our existence. Like, we got to have spaces to where we can actually like be there for each other. So that's what we do over at my. Because I don't put up with dumb shit.
Yeah, and for all of you that haven't checked out Summer's live streams and her platform, please do so. It is Hot Mess Summer on YouTube, right?
Yes, yeah, and so kind of like the basis over there. I'm a human trafficking survivor, a domestic violence survivor. I've been through a lot of different things, and now I'm on the other side of everything. I run a shelter. I do outreach. I do just a lot of different speaking things. Plus, I'm you know, a women's advocate. I fight for all kinds of different women's issues. So, yeah.
You're on a commission with the governor of Kentucky.
So, well, I was sitting. So we started one of the first victims council down in our state's capital, and what that consisted of is tons of victims of violent crimes like human trafficking, domestic violence, you know, the church sexual abuse type of stuff, gun violence, just anything that's super bad. And we're one of the first states that actually started a council to where we have input in so we can march and we can bitch and we can sit on YouTube all day long and we can get in the streets and hold our little signs up and drive our trucks everywhere. But if we're not getting in and we're not changing the laws and seeing what needs to be changed so it can effectively support our communities, we're really not doing shit. So, you know, even if we wanted to create our own government, we would still have to do that. So why not practice right now and try to fix what we got? And so that council was able to put in, you know what I mean? Like when certain bills came up or whatever, we were able to help address it. We've gotten some rape stuff that there was some loopholes and some like situations where people could get raped and we couldn't prosecute because there was these crazy loopholes, and we've been able to fix those. We helped with the Vine line. We're still working on that, but like, you know, so things to empower victims, and we're trying to make, trying to get it to where courtrooms recognize they're not victim friendly, as we all watched in this trial that just happened in the Brooks trial. Oh my God. And so we're just trying to do stuff that's more victim based. And so that's the kind of people I want. Like, if you're about helping women, if you're about helping children, like we can all say that, but like I'm 10 toes down and I will call you on your shit. I will find out if you're 10 toes down. And if you are, we're going to get into the work because every community needs this. And so, yeah. And I'm a hot mess.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm going through my own shit. You know what I mean? Like I got a situation. I don't really know what's going on in this community of chat, but I was reading and I was like, damn,
That's okay.
there's some shit going on. And I get it, because even in there is, you know, I have a situation, I have a stalking case, and I'm going through all that. So yeah, it's the internet can be a beast, man. Woo, it can be a beast.
Yeah. It would take a couple of months to explain what's going on in the chat,
Right.
and how it is all formulated.
Hey, it's all good. I mean, hopefully people figure it out. We got shit to do
Yeah.
though. So y'all can argue all day long or we can get to work. I mean, it is what it is.
Right on.
So what else has been going on? What's your thoughts on the case? Because I kind of like, I'm really like wanting to talk to people about that, because that case reminds me of what I'm going through in some sense. Not the actions, but the dude, the way he acted and shit. He was a
hot mess.
He's a fucking idiot. Sorry
Yeah.
about my cousin.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Even if it's just a counsel that's provided by the government, you don't go into court representing yourself.
No, you don't. And I mean, look, we all know the system's broke, right? There's no doubt about that, regardless of where you're at in this whole fight of freedom fighters or social justice or whatever. You know, we all know the system's broke, right? But unfortunately, until we can come up with some kind of system to actually work, which, yeah, we have to work with the one we got, right? And so you're real stupid if you're facing 6 murder charges and like, what was it, 76, a total of 76 charges, and you're going to represent yourself. And I don't feel sorry for him. Like, he's a whole, he was, a lot of people don't realize this, but he actually did get evaluated twice, you know? So, because when they want to represent themselves, they kind of have them do that, especially in a serious case. And so, yeah, he's a whole hot mess, but he trafficked. This started, right? Like, his bullshit, and this is something that I've been talking about on my channel, is we see the action when things happen, right? And then it's like, oh shit, this happened. He ran over a bunch of people. They shot up his concert. They shot up a school. Oh, all these issues, right? And then it gets our attentions. But like, if you break down a lot of these cases, even in his situation, he trafficked the mother of his child when she was 15 years old. You know what I mean? He's on TikTok, and I showed this on my show because, you know, I like do my little research and I can find some things. And
Right.
I found a TikTok, and he's like, yeah, you know, I pimped her out when she's 15. And when he's talking about breaking bitches and all this regular pimp talk, and being a trafficking survivor, I recognize that. And so I'm like, okay, so he's been doing all this. And back then, the charges, because of the work of so many survivor leaders, like that's what I'm considered in the movement of anti-human trafficking. And since so many of us have spoken up, the laws from 2007 to 2022, totally different, right? Like, so when he got charged with back then, it was a washed up charge of, you know what I mean, what they would knock down trafficking, to where now, like, you're going to get in trouble for trafficking. Like, they're actually putting people to jail for that, at least in our state. So.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions for Summer before we let her go?
And yeah, you guys could come over and hang out. Like, you know what I mean? We talk about all kinds of different stuff. I do panels. I like hearing other people's opinions and all that kind of stuff. I'm big, like I said, I'm big into helping women and giving the right knowledge to fight anti-human trafficking, because I know a lot of people, they got it in their little hearts and, you know, they're like, yay, let's fight it. But they really make the work harder. So from a survivor's point of view, I really try to just, I talk about my story a lot. Like, you know, I mean, my abuse started long before I got trafficked. My grooming started long before I was trafficked, you know. So I talk about that. Let's see. GA said she wants. Okay, so Esther's house is, all right. So when I've only been out of the life for about 7 years, right? And so when I got out, I mean, like, I have a home and everything like that. I have a husband and stuff. So, but I was getting out and I was doing the work, and I was noticing there was no safe place to put women, right? Like, you could put a human trafficking and domestic violence together because the trauma is kind of the same, but you can't just put either a DV survivor or a human trafficking survivor in, say, just a regular halfway house or Salvation Army, because one, there's trauma bonding, there's grooming that's going on in these places. They're not able to break their barriers down. So I seen that need, and a pastor literally walked up to me and was like, God told me to give you this house. And so I worked on Esther's house for 18 months. It was a trap house. I painted, I sanded floors, I did cabinets, I did all of it. And then we opened up, and it's based to be a 2-year program, but it could really be anything. It could be as long as the victim needs it. It's a long-term program. We take care of all their needs, all the way from even just cigarettes, clothes, food, every single thing. Because we want them to really sit down and focus on their trauma and get into, if they need addiction work, if they need, you know, whatever it is, parenting classes. And then we get them hooked up with job training so they can understand how to do resume building and things like that. If they have children, they're going to do parenting classes. I just thought about all the things that I needed, right? Like, and I'm lucky because I got my husband that walked through everything with me, but not everybody's got that. And so a lot of these programs or a lot of these places, I mean, they don't really give a shit. They're just there for the check. They're there to basically to re-exploit victims again, because they're not really helping them. You know what I mean? And so I was just tired of seeing us run in circles, and I wanted someplace safe for these women to be able to, you know what I mean, be able to stay at and not have to worry about anything. And so that's what Esther's house is all about. And it's really just creating, it's warriors creating warriors, you know what I mean? Like, and unfortunately right now, because of things that is going on, because I have a stalking situation that's gotten pretty serious. And so I did shut my doors for the time being, but we're hoping, he's in jail now. And so we're hoping to be able to open up again, hopefully soon, because when a place that specialized just in trafficking, there's not that many places. I think we have like a total of just specific anti-human trafficking for survivors. I think there's like 102 in the country.
In the entire country?
In the entire country. So, you know, so if we have a place that's specifically designed for that, and then we have to close because I won't ever put anybody in danger. I partner with a lot of places, and so I was able to move the women somewhere safe until we can open back up, which will be, you know, soon or whatever. But I mean, it's just a part of the work. My channel's name is Hot Mess Summer. And so it's just a part of the work, unfortunately, because when you get into it and you're really into it, like we help with rescues, we help with, and we don't actually like saying rescues. I think I read that, and that's why I said it. It's that we actually say extractions because, most victims, if you talk to, are survivors. Like we're not projects, so we don't like rescues. So in learning the language, that's something else I try to teach about on my channel is just to learn language. You know what I mean? Because I guarantee you people have trafficking survivors or victims around them and don't even realize it. They don't know it. And so sometimes the more you learn and you get these, sometimes like movies and stuff put these crazy, ideologies in your heads of what it is. And traffickings happen around most of us, like literally most of us every single day. And so, I don't know. That's what I try to do. I'll see. I'm gonna try to look at the comment. Go ahead. I'm listening.
You look at the comments because they're talking to you. One is about trauma. You talked about the need to deal with trauma. And if we don't deal with trauma, that trauma keeps coming back. Yeah. It's like on a loop and it keeps recycling and it pops up in times of stress that just exacerbates that stress with trauma that it has nothing to do with what the situation is. It's just trauma we haven't dealt with that keeps coming back until we deal with it.
Yeah, like I always say, like trauma is, and I didn't learn all this until about 7 years ago when obviously I've been through a lot of shit, like I've been trafficked, to be auctioned off to the highest bidder, and to have to live with that your whole life, to live with the abuse of sexual assault since you're a little kid, you know what I mean? And all these things happen to me periodically throughout my whole life, and they were never treated. Like, so I always tell people, if you got a child around you and that child's been through some things, please get that baby some help. Because when you don't get the child the help that it needs, that trauma, like you were saying, it produces even more trauma. And then these children end up and become very vulnerable to being groomed and end up in situations, right? And then not only that aspect, but even if you have something happen and you don't treat that trauma, like I promise you, it's gonna come back and it's gonna bite you in your own ass because stress is gonna elevate it. And even it don't even have to be your stress, And I believe that a lot of us, everybody's dealing with trauma, right? Like it doesn't matter that I've been kidnapped or I've been buried alive or I've been auctioned off or I've been all these crazy things I've been through, right? I can guarantee you a woman that's been through some domestic violence or molestation or whatever, or even somebody lost a parent, a loved one at a young age. That's serious trauma. And if you don't treat it, then you just go around shitting on everybody. And that's our issues right now. A lot of us are traumatized because the last couple of years have been traumatizing. And we're not focusing on that. And I salute the young lady that was supposed to come up here with me. I like her a lot. I think she's a really amazing chick. I'm glad I have her email so I can stay in contact with her, because I like being around people like that. I like people that genuinely, want to do the work and want to help and really just, whatever. But I think a lot of our issues, whether you're a victim or been through some shit or not, we're all traumatized. The last couple of years have traumatized all of us, and we're really not being as effective as we can be. Like we need to step back 10 steps and pay attention. Because and again, I'm not crocheting on anybody's shit because trust me, my community's got drama. We all got drama. And I speak to my community and what I was seeing in this chat. You feel me? Like we need to step back 10 toes because we're not being effective. We're wasting our time on. And listen, I know people do stupid shit. I'm going through so much stupid shit because of shit on the internet. And like the system, I feel like, is making a joke out of all of us. They're laughing at all of us because none of us are being effective on anything we got politics, we got elections and shit like this coming up. Like, I don't know. I think if we don't step back and evaluate some shit and work on some shit, because we got some critical times coming up as in our country. And so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Get it together,
And
motherfuckers. Like, we ain't got time for this bullshit. Like, and this is what the system wants. The system wants us to be at each other's throats. The system wants us to be caught up in petty bullshit. And we're not, it's all distractions.
Yeah.
That's one thing in the different communities I can definitely recognize is the distractions.
And for those that don't know, the first time I saw Summer, she was wearing pink boots. It was pouring down rain.
Yep.
She was at a dump going through looking for property of people that the city of Louisville had forcibly removed from the Breonna Taylor protest.
Well, yeah. So Tyler Girth had so obviously 2020 happens. We have a bunch of protesting going on. I'm very big plugged into that. And my friend and fellow comrade brother was actually shot and killed. And so the next morning after everything happened, they came through and they said they wasn't gonna like bulldoze our stuff or anything, but it was a murder scene, so we all had to leave. And they came through, they took all of our shit. So I'm like, yeah, y'all got me twisted. I was like, I'm going to get our shit. Like, you know what I mean? And so we were in these, they took all of our stuff, they put it in dumpsters. So I'm talking about I was in high shit of just stuff, garbage everywhere.
I know.
We're pulling tents out, but people, their birth certificates, all of the stuff's there, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, we, and that too, right? Like, dude, I can't, from the time, regardless of what people believe or feel on the Breonna Taylor case, like I lived there, I was there that night. Like what they did was fucking bogus and they should have never been there. They should have never done what they done. And that's why 4 officers and more are being charged. So I'm just saying. But anyway, I'm heavy in that, right? Like I love her mother to death. I love her family. I love my community. This is struggles in our community that happen. We have serious police brutality. Before that situation, there was an officer. I mean, there was cops that, had a program and they molested a bunch of the kids. There's tons of cops that are raping women all the time on the tracks and shit like that. And following women home from hospitals that are nurses and sexually assaulting them. And cops are shooting through their fucking windows at 17-year-old kids running away from them. How much of a threat are they? They have nothing in their hand. Why are you shooting through your window? So these are things that happen in my community, right? And so, so I get it. Like, and it's not just my community because it's an other shit, like everywhere struggling right now. I strongly believe that. And the news media and the government wants to separate us all. And you know what I mean? Like we really need to step back. Cause if not, we think shit's rough now.
I know it's going to get
I'm going to
worse.
drink my tea and let people figure it out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Thank you for coming on here.
Most definitely.
Always appreciate it. And every time I say, I'm going to get down to Louisville, we're going to get together. And, I'm going to get down to Louisville. I want to do an episode on the Roots 101 Museum.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, that's a beautiful museum. I do a lot of work over there. I do a lot of interviews with them, and I mean, they just do. Louisville's what's cool about Louisville? It's an amazing city, especially when it comes to civil rights and things like that, and the role that it played in everything. So, I think it's pretty awesome. So yeah, we'd love to have you down, and you know what I mean. I'm sure. Saturday I'm doing a domestic violence march because obviously it's domestic violence month, and like I said, I'm kind of going through my own situation, and other victims are as well. And so I just want to put something together for women that are and men, because I know that domestic violence happens. So if you're in the Louisville area, you can meet us at Breeway, which is 6th and Jefferson. Everyone knows where that is, and if you don't, all you gotta do is Google it. And we're going to be having a march there. So please join us, and we'll be live streaming. So join us that way too.
I was going to say, I will either restream your broadcast, or I might just pop down there and say hey to everybody.
Hey, we love to have you.
Hey. All right.
All right.
Thank you, darling. See you soon.
And I hope to see some of you guys over in my chat. Hot Mess Summer. Love you guys. Thanks for having me. And remember, take care of yourselves. Don't let the system fuck us all. Love y'all later.
That was awesome. The one and only Summer Dickerson. What a great way to end it. Thank you all for being here tonight, and for clicking on, for staying on, for sharing that that we were on. We'll do it again tomorrow night at midnight. I'm not going to play it, but we are going to kind of end the same way we started. We started with Weed Tifa by Jerry Garcia and Baldy Banks. And for those that don't know, there's a 1776 RM promo update from Baldy Banks, and it's a video that if you got a good sense of humor, it's a good watch. Summer is great. Again, I met Summer during the Breonna Taylor situation in Louisville, and just a super strong woman that doesn't take a lot of crap from anybody, and she gets things done, and an incredible organizer, and we always enjoy having her on the program. And we invite you and encourage you to go to her channel. Again, it's Hot Mess Summer, SUMMER, on YouTube, and she's on there once or twice a day most of the time. Again, she's been going through some stuff, so she hasn't been on with us due to that. But everything's getting wrapped up, and we hope everything is going to be concluded in a positive manner for her. She's a good, strong lady, and got a lot of stuff done. So her channel name is Hot Mess Summer. Yes. Thank you, Summer, they're saying. Okay. All right. Thank you all. Thank you for clicking on. Thank you for staying on. Thank you for being here. If you'd like to contact me, americandufus at gmail.com. It's right down here in the corner of the screen. AMERICANDUFUS, all one word, at gmail.com. And if you'd like to help support the show with a small donation, you can do so at Cashapp with $, American Doofus, all one word again, AMERICANDUFUS. And if you would like to have a autographed copy of the latest novel, America, Land of the Greed, Home of the Grave, it is available. You can see the description below the video, and it's available on Amazon, or you can get an autographed copy from me for a $25 donation through Cash App, or through PayPal, or a super chat. And just email me if you're interested in the book. A couple of people already have. We'll be getting that taken care of coming up. So thank you to Summer Dickerson for joining us. Now that J. Met's court is passed, we will have Pluck the Patriarchy on here very soon. One of the reasons we weren't doing that was because of her upcoming court date. All of the charges dropped against her, so we will have her on very soon. And I will say thank you very much once again for watching. This is Late Night America. It's on the American Doofus channel. We will be back tomorrow night at midnight doing it all over again. Namaste, shalom, salam, assalamu alaikum. Blessings in the name of the Most High, His Son, Christ Jesus, the Holy Spirit. And if you're not a spiritual person, power, positive vibrations, peace, and love. Thank you all for being here. We'll be back tomorrow night at midnight. Late Night America on the American Doofus channel.